You read the title, and I'm surprised too. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is so good. I'm not even kidding. Puss in Boots 2 has no business being as good as it was because it has a lot of cards stacked against it. One, it's a Shrek spin-off. That's not a good sign. Yo, editing Pharaoh here. I just want to clarify this point. Shrek isn't bad, but the weird spin-offs and stuff they released on YouTube like Shrek freestyle raps or Shrek 3, those are the bad ones. The actual movies are fine. Okay, cool. Just wanted to clarify. And also, there were like 5 different villains, but Puss in Boots 2 had it in the bag. It was up to the task. So I would say that there isn't a bad character in the bunch. I would say everything, all the characters in this movie are great. From Puss in Boots to Kitty Softpaws and Pierrot, that's the core trio throughout the movie. They're all great. They all have their own awesome arcs. I would even go as far as say beautiful. Some of the arcs that those characters go through was really special. The other faction, Goldilocks and Baby, Papa, and Mama Bear. At first, I thought I wasn't gonna like those characters. I thought it would have just been like Goldilocks is like yelling at her Goldie Bear slaves, but it actually told a really compelling story about family and trust there, which is a big thing I would like to say about this movie. It doesn't dumb down the themes, it doesn't lay out the themes all perfectly in the movie. It isn't like, oh, Kitty Softpaws, you need to learn to trust Puss in Boots and learn to trust Perro even after everything you went through. Like, it doesn't just say it, it actually shows it. That's something I feel like I shouldn't have to say, but most movies these days always just tell their theme. They're always just, oh, you need to learn this lesson, and here's why. But this actually experienced it. Goldilocks has a whole not fun, but beautiful arc about family with the bears and with her new adopted family with the bears. It's hard to explain. You'll have to see the movie. And the third faction was a fairy tale I've never heard of until now. It's Baby Jack Horner. I don't know, maybe it might just be like a foreign thing, but still, he was a funny as hell villain. He didn't have much of a character arc, and I would just say that that was a really funny villain. But last but not least, literally Death is the villain of this movie. Death, like the Grim Reaper as like this bull with 2 axes is the main villain. It was so good. He's genuinely one of the best villains in an animated movie I've seen in a while. I got chills every time that man was on screen. Chills. But yeah, if I were to say one problem I had with this movie, which isn't a lot, there was only one thing I walked out of this movie being like, that's not as good, was I feel like the villain's henchmen, well, I thought the deaths were really funny. Like, they got surprisingly brutal. Like, the amount of people that blew up and got incinerated in this movie was insane. But the villain's henchmen, I kind of wish that added up to something. Because everything else, all the character arcs, all the scenarios, all the jokes, everything adds up except for the villain henchmen and their deaths. I thought that would have added up to something towards the end there, but that isn't enough to ruin the movie. But this movie is still amazing. How I like to do my reviews is kind of do a compliment sandwich, depending on the movie. So to end it off on a good note, I just want to say, the action in this movie was great. I loved it. I loved it. There's a scene at the beginning with like a giant titan with a bell. Oh my god, that was so cool. The final battle with all the different factions colliding at a star. Oh my god, dude. I genuinely, you have to go see this movie. If you're watching this video, go see this movie. It is genuinely super good. And it makes me excited for future movies in the series. It makes me excited to see what else, because they kind of set up a sequel. It leaves it open-ended enough for me to be happy with its ending, but also want me to have more. I'm hyped for Shrek 5 now. I'm excited to see where they go with the Shrek franchise. This is like a new beginning for the Shrek cinematic universe. And I am so goddamn excited to see where this goes. 10 out of 10 movie right here. Not even joking. This movie is a legitimate 10 out of 10. Outside of the weird henchman thing, there is not a single flaw with this movie. And I know it's silly that the first ever 10 out of 10 I'm giving on this channel in my new review era is going to be a 10 out of 10. But I cannot stress enough how good this movie is. Go see this movie. Because there was not enough people in that theater when me and my friends went to go see it. And I think this is one of those movies that should be seen. Because it tells the studios that we want good things. But if we only see and consume mid or bad movies just because we think it's funny or because we don't know it's bad. But this is the type of movie that we gotta support because this is good. This is a really good and strong movie that you all should see. 10 out of 10.